Ni hao, what the peng yo men? Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Singer Dad Reacts. My name is Josh, and I am here to do a reaction to Hua Chen-yu. I've been away for a while, and I wanted to kind of give some explanation of that. So, my wife and I got COVID again. We had it in December of 2020, and then we got vaccinated early last year, springtime, and we didn't get the booster because we didn't think we needed it, and apparently we needed it. So we've both been down with that, and the thing that's lingering the longest for me is this sore throat. So that's kept me from doing a reaction. In fact, my throat's probably going to get tired through the course of my reaction, so I may not talk as much as I normally do in my reactions. But as I try to do every time, I will give you the best quality reaction I can. So today I'm going to be reacting to a duet with Hua Chen-yu and GEM. I'm not sure what that stands for, but it's a well-known Chinese actress and singer. And this song, it was interesting to learn that it was actually part of the soundtrack for the movie The Passenger. So I did see that movie with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, but I don't recall this song. I probably have heard the song before. I'm kind of torn on that sometimes because I want to hear the original song before, usually. But in this case, I didn't want it to kind of take away from the experience because this is the same artist, GEM, that is singing with Hua Chen-yu. So what I'll probably do is, after I watch this, maybe I'll watch that on my own, and then I'll add my comments in to my closing comments as far as how they compare. So you can kind of see what my thoughts are between the two in my closing comments. So with that, these are the lyrics that I found for it. Light Years Away, that's what it's called. Original songwriter GEM. Hua Chen-yu and GEM did their own kind of, I believe, arrangement for this performance. This is from the Singer Competition 2018. I believe this is from the finale, it's on the final night of the competition or something like that. And I'm pretty sure that Hua Chen-yu did really well and won the battle or whatever it was. So with that, the lyrics are, and again, for those that are new to my channel or may not know kind of what I do, if you are not really into hearing the lyrics or going through that with me, I do have chapters on my YouTube video. Feel free to just skip ahead to the next section on the video to my reaction if you are not interested in the lyrics. So I do provide that for my listeners. I feel the fingers that stop in my hair, how a moment freezes time. I see the pair of eyes looking steadily at me. Maybe there already is no tomorrow. Facing a vast sea of stars, we are as small as dust, floating in helplessness. There's a bridge. Fate had us meet outside a chaotic world. Destiny made us fall in love in the middle of danger. Maybe in the future, far beyond light years, I am willing to guard an unknown location, waiting for you. In the chorus, I never thought that for your sake I would go insane to the point of landslides, tidal waves. Without you, I don't want to escape my own mind. For your sake, I've already gone insane to the point of feeling like my pulse and heartbeat are totally unimportant without you. A pair of arms encircling my chest are sufficient for resisting the revolution of the earth. A type of stubborn persistence not willing to let go is enough to light up all hopes. The universe is immense and cold. Our love is small yet shining, curious yet selfless. And then it repeats the bridge in the chorus. Perhaps outside of this path is a dream from which we do not wake. Outside of this chaotic world is the most pure embrace. Then it repeats. We met outside a chaotic world. We fell in love in the midst of danger. This really does tie in well with the movie. I kind of remember what the movie's about, and they're stuck on this spaceship in the middle of the universe. by themselves pretty much. So this makes sense. Destiny made us fall in love in the middle of danger. Very interesting lyrics. There really is no tomorrow, facing a vast sea of stars. We are as small as dust, floating in helplessness. Really well written. I like the imagery that's brought out through the choice of words. Many of you may not be aware, but I'm actually an author on the side, so I write middle grade fantasy novels. I wrote a novel about 4 years ago, and I'm working on the sequel to that. It's out on Amazon if you want to go check it out. It's called Lithogal. And the first book's called The Prophecy. Yeah, so I always put some information down in my description about my author stuff. If you're interested, you can check it out. But so I understand like words, and that's part of why I like to read the lyrics, because I understand the power of the words in the scope of the song, and what they can bring to the power that it communicates with us. And this definitely has some powerful lyrics to it. I'm willing to guard an unknown location waiting for you. This one is really deep and powerful right here. It says, for your sake, I have already gone insane to the point of feeling like my pulse and heartbeat are totally unimportant without you. It's like my heart won't beat without you. That's really a deep love. So, and I believe, I don't know what the timing is, but I believe from what I read that Hua Chenyu and GM were an item. They were boyfriend girlfriend at one point, and something happened there. And I'm not going to speak to that. I don't know all the details, but so I'm wondering if maybe you guys can speak to this in the comments, whether they were together during this song when they sang this song to each other. So if you could comment on that, I would appreciate it, because that would add some additional information and insight into this song and the power between them. So with that, if you're new to my channel, or if you haven't already, if you could please click on the notifications bell there and subscribe and support the channel, I would appreciate it. I really try to do my best here at providing quality reactions, and I do translate the lyrics, if you haven't noticed, for my videos into at least 15 languages. This one I'll probably do 16, because I'll add the Chinese translation. So if you're out there listening and you speak a foreign language and you're more comfortable reading in a different language than the ones that I provide, please let me know in the comments. Hey Josh, if you could add, this language or that language to the ones that you translate, then I can do that for you. I'm happy to add languages in there if I have listeners that are out there that would be able to experience more and appreciate more of my reactions with the subtitles translated in their language. So let me know. I'll be happy to do that. Let's jump into this.
根手停在我发端的指尖，如何瞬间冻结时间。
That's a little low for him. Sounds good though.
集中着坚定的双眼，也许已经没
Good
有
control.
明天。
Beautiful harmonies.
缘分让我们
Try to stop in the middle. I'll rewind to make sure I don't miss anything. The thing I love about Hua Qinyu is that, number one, he's so present. He's so engaged in the lyrics and in the song. Every song that I've seen him perform, he is putting his whole heart into the performance. And he also loves to do things with his voice, and he has great control over like the dynamics and changing the timbre, the different textures of the way the sound comes out. He's a master at that, and you can kind of hear that through this part here, right, where he's going up into like his head voice and kind of singing this haunting melody that kind of, then the harmonies. There were some interesting harmonies there too, like having sung in a cappella groups and in different groups where harmonies were involved. Sometimes there are harmonies where they sound really they sound really good together, but it's hard to like stay on your note because maybe like they're not this perfect third or perfect fifth or whatever harmony that you're singing, but yet they sound good, and sometimes they kind of, there's a little bit of distance and they come back in and resolve and have that like major chord sounding more pleasantness there. So they're really gifted as far as musicians to kind of work through those harmonies that they just did, and be able to feel each other and the pulsing that's occurring here with the flow of the song and the mood that they're setting with the way the music's kind of going in and out, like, you know. And yeah, she's got an interesting voice. I like her voice. It's really bright. So I think that's part of why they blend well together, because they both kind of have, you know, a brighter tone. I want to go back a little bit here and listen to this part again. So let me go back.
命运只有我们未能终相爱，也许未来遥远在光年之外。
See his cheeks? Just lifting his. See how he's opening and closing his mouth? Changes the sound. Here, kind of jump into her head voice there. So I don't, in my reactions, I like to stay positive, and really kind of look for the good in what the performers are doing. But part of me, with like the classical training and things that I have, is keying in on certain things about GM and the way she's approaching her vocal. And I think that she would find if she was to open her mouth more, because you can see throughout the song, like her mouth is always kind of like, kind of closed, and you could still put out good sound with that, but her sound would be richer, more resonant, and it's also easier to stay on top of the pitch if you kind of open up more as well. That's just one of those things with the way that the voice works and the sound, and the way that the inner mechanisms work as well. You heard me kind of talking about, and they both are doing this fairly well actually, as far as kind of, I've talked about it in other reactions, the singer smile, where you see the cheeks kind of come up like that. And what that does when you do that is it lifts the soft palate, which is this part that kind of in the back part of your throat there, and allows the sound to kind of come through with more richness and resonance and volume. So yeah, they're both, especially Hua Chenyu, are doing well with that aspect. But in Hua does well with opening his mouth, like especially on some of the higher notes that he had there. But I think for her, she would, she's great. She sounds good, but she would sound even better if she was able to open things up a little bit more, especially on some of like the rounder vowels and things like that are meant to be more open. Anyway, but it's great. It's a great performance. And of course, Hua's bringing it, and they sound really well together. Let me go back a little bit here. See how open he is right there? And you can kind of see the cheeks also, right? And also the tongue is kind of forward. He does pretty well with that as well. So that's another thing you learn as a vocalist. Because if you put your tongue back, if you kind of let your tongue go back, or think of it this way. Think of like a pipe. Think of like a pipe, and you have water traveling through the pipe. And you have a valve in there. And the valve can open and close, allowing the water to travel through that pipe. Well, now imagine that the voice and all of this is that pipe. Now imagine that valve is kind of like the tongue, right? So if you push that tongue back, it's like kind of closing the valve a little bit, and so you're kind of shutting the sound out and keeping that water from coming out. And the sound is like the water, right? So yeah, that's kind of the mechanics of why typically you want to keep your tongue a little bit more forward. So let me go back just a little bit more. See how open he is? Right there again, yeah. Nice. Oh, he's doing a rap here. Nice. She had nice resonance there. That was good. Nice. His breath control is amazing. Way to finish together. Nice. Nice. That's awesome. Okay, so I watched GEM's music video from the Passenger movie of this song, and it sounded great. She was awesome. So yeah, it was similar to their performance, but they added their own twists in there, which I liked a lot. I didn't like this one as much as I liked Nanping Bell. I don't know what it was about that performance, but I think it was just a combination of the song and the harmonies and all of that. I like that one better, but this was a great performance. And the thing about Hua Chenyu that I've seen from my reactions to him on my channel is that he's just so talented, and he can just take a song and make it his own and really bring out like the best in a song and add really cool harmonies. And he added the rap section in there, which he did with Nanping Bell as well, which is really cool. I'm not a huge rap person normally, but it sounded great with the way that it was put in there. So he's amazing. Thank you to all of you Martians, I believe is what his fans are called, for your patience with me and kind of getting back to doing some more reactions. If you have specific suggestions for upcoming Hua Chenyu reactions, please put those in the comments down below. And the thing that helps me is if someone puts the suggestion in there and then a bunch of you go in there and like it. It's kind of your way of voting for that particular song for me to react to it. So if you could do that, that makes it easier for me. And then I know what most of you are really wanting to see. So that will help a lot. Anyway, I'm going to cut this short. Like I said, my voice is still pretty raw, and so I'm glad it made it through the reaction. But I always end my reactions by saying that each of you needs to know that you are loved, you are special, and you can accomplish your dreams. And we all need to hear that at different points in our lives. And I hope that you can find some of that in my reactions and in the channel and the community that we've built together. Try to create an atmosphere through my reactions and through the comments and the way that I maintain my channel, that people feel the power of music and the light that it can bring into our lives and our hearts, and they can learn something new through the experience. And so those are my goals for my channel. And I thank you for your support, and take care.